Welcome to Rebuilding a Stuart Major Beam Engine, Part 5. Working on the wooden mounting base, making sure that it is dimensionally square, so that the engine base sits level on top of it, and looking at the best way to fit the sheets of ceramic bricks. The construction of this base is very strong indeed. It's glued with PVA and screwed together. And what I'm going to do is clad it with these bricks. These miniature bricks came from America, I understand, although of course it does say on the package made in China. They're very good indeed, and they're fastened to a backing, which saves a lot of trouble. A while back I made a beam engine base, and I used some stuff called Tyfock. These are proper little bricks, unlike these, which are actually just fascia bricks, a bit like stone cladding. In this clip I'm looking at the geometry and how it works out. The base is 5.5 inches deep, and if I remove one course of these bricks, that leaves me with the brick height of 5.5 inches, which is pretty good really. These bricks are very convenient to use and very easy to fit, as you just stick the whole sheet to the side of your piece of wood. Tyfock bricks are excellent because you can go round corners and they look just like proper bricks. But if you go round corners with these, they're not going to look right because they're too thin. So what do we do here, I wonder? One thing I could do is either live with it, or use a piece of mahogany like this and make a corner out of the mahogany, which could be mited and it would then look really good. But of course there'd be a lot of sealing with primer and painting before it looked like it was made out of stone or brick. A better idea, I think, is to use some 1/8 thick angle. Not quite like this is the biggest piece I had, in fact it's 2 16th pieces put together. So a larger piece of brass angle is a good idea. I'll think about this further. In this clip I'm taking a quick look at the level between the bearings on the bed plate and the pedestal. The crankshaft needs to be aligned to the bed plate at a perfect 90 degrees, so some adjustment will be required on the pedestal side of things. And I'm going to try this by just packing the pedestal to see what kind of a packing I need to level up the crankshaft. At the moment the packing's looking a little bit like 4mm or about 1/8 of an inch. I won't of course be using 4mm ply for this. The final packing will be a piece of steel, similar to what you see here but much neater and much smaller. For me the ideal solution would be to use a piece of steel angle 1/8 of an inch thick and big enough to bolt to the baseboard and also bolt to the box. That way I would get a very rigid fixing for the pedestal bearing. Unfortunately though, before I can do anything constructive with alignment of bearings, I have to get over this problem. The box is not fully square. This has cast some doubt on the suitability of this material for a base for such an engine. That's the trouble with things made from wood. It is an organic product. Even though the wood is 1¼ inches thick, it does move around slightly. I can actually rectify this by putting the block in the milling machine and taking a fine cut on the top and bottom of it. I will give that some further thought. With the help of my belt sander and some brand new belts, I turned this slightly warped piece of wood into a very good base for a major beam engine. The bit of video that I'm showing here is only a fraction of the time that it took to get this thing flat. I was going back and forth between the belt sander and the main workshop many times. My workshop is split into 2 halves. This part of the workshop that I'm in at the moment is the dirty side of the workshop, where the grinders are, the belt sander and various other bits and pieces that make a lot of mess. And the good thing about this part of the workshop is it's right next to an open door, so all the dust and mess from there generally blows out of the door. The main engine bed plate is now sat on this box in the position it's going to be on the finished thing. So what I'm doing to make sure that if I remove it I can get it back into precisely the right place is drawing round it with a pencil. The accurate mounting of the engine bed plate to the mounting base is of paramount importance, because the flywheel bearing pedestal is also going to be attached to this mounting base. Now, using a 3/16 drill, I'm making a pilot mark in the wood through the main mounting holes of the engine bed plate. These holes are 3/16 of an inch in diameter to take 2 BA studs, so I'm not drilling too far down with a 3/16 drill. By using a 3/16 drill, I'm making a very accurate mark on the main wood. So when I change the drill for a 5/32 drill, which is tapping size for 2 BA, I will get a very accurate hole. And as you can see here, with the 5/32 of an inch drill fitted, I am drilling a much deeper hole than previously with the 3/16 drill. I'm going to tap all these holes in the wood with a 2BA tap. Time now to look at the brick covering on the outside edge of this box. And the first thing I need is a line to work to with the bricks. So using some panel pins, I'm just fixing a piece of scrap 4mm plywood to the top of the box. This 4mm plywood that you just see me fasten to the top of the box is only there to give me a datum for the bricks that I'm going to be sticking on there. And also to show accurately how many courses of bricks I need to remove to make the bricks level with the bottom of the base. In the last episode, when I showed the bricks like this on the side of the base, I thought I would have to take off one course of bricks, but having a look at these bricks in detail, they're extremely hard, they're more like tiles. You can hear this by the sound they make when you rattle them with a piece of metal. I tried drilling one with a small ordinary high-speed steel drill, which just glowed red and melted. Even grinding these things on the belt sander's not a good idea, they just wear the belt. They do grind away, but it takes quite a long time. So by taking some measurements as you see here, I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to remove another course of bricks. And that will leave me 1/8 of an inch, which is perfect, because the main lower mounting board is going to be clad in floorboarding. Not real floorboarding, pretend mahogany floorboarding, and it just so happens that I have a good stock of 1/8 of an inch thick mahogany. Because I'm removing 2 courses of bricks from each sheet, I'm going to have a lot of these left over also. I could put them round the bottom edge, as you see here, on their edge, but no, that's not going to look good. I can sort of visualise the end thing looking like that, and it would be horrendous. The way I'm going to do it is to cut some of this mahogany into strips and make floorboarding. And once the floorboarding is laid, it will look like the real thing. It occurs to me with this model, even though as far as a model goes, it's a large model of a not very large engine, and that's the reason for using these smaller bricks. I built a baseboard a while back for a Brunel Models Grasshopper beam engine, and I got the impression that this was a larger engine. Generally, full-size beam engines, if they're really big, are built into the buildings, or at least on many columns, not just a central column. So it seems to me that this size of brick is probably okay for the scale of this engine. You're currently watching me using 2 sheets of this brick material to cover the entire front side of the box base. I'm pushing the sheets together and you can't really see the join. What I need to do first though is get the exact length, so I'm putting a ruler at one end as you can see, and at the other end it's a different story. I'm using a pair of pincers to break off the end of the bricks. The pincers actually nip off the end of the bricks perfectly. I suppose I could use a tile cutter, but this tool does the job so well I couldn't want for a better system. In the last episode I was trying to look at the best way to get the corners to look right. Because these bricks are thin, then going round corners gives it away. One solution was to pre-fit corners made of either mahogany or brass and run the brick up to them. But in the end I've decided to run the bricks all the way up to the edge and then use a piece of 16th brass angle to cover the join on the corners. It'll look quite good and it will protect the brick. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.